Hello, my name is Henriette and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'd love to have you here. I hope you've all had a wonderful week. Here in London, it's been like summer for the whole week. In today's video, I want to show you the next stages of growing your own vegetables. And if you hang on to the end, I'll also show you a super lovely summer dessert. We have a little strip of land behind the black wall, and this is where I'm going to plant out our larger vegetables. But as you can see, it's absolutely covered in weeds and some of the vegetables from last year, and I need to clear it. I absolutely do not want to use weed killer because I don't want to poison our vegetables. I want them to be organic. That means the only way is to dig them all up and pull them out by the root. Once I'm rid of all the weeds, I cover the ground with straw. Now this is an organic matter, a sort of a mulch, which helps keep the weeds at bay. Here are the pumpkins that I planted in my last video, and haven't they grown? Now I'm just checking if the roots are coming out of the bottom, because if they have, then they're ready to be planted out. And here are those delicate broccoli seedlings that you saw me plant in the last video as well. And look how they have grown. Again, I'm just going to check whether the roots have come out of the bottom, which they have. So now I'm ready to start planting. Before I plant them, I like to plan out exactly where I'm going to put them first, because with everything you need to make sure that the distance is correct. These are going to get big, so they're going to need some space. First, I clear some of the stalks away. I don't want to get soil mixed up with the stalks, because then you will get weeds, and that is what I don't want. I make sure that I dig a hole big enough to fit the whole plant. Then I carefully remove the plant from its pot and put it into the hole. And then it's time to cover with the soil and put the stalks back. Gardening can be a little hard on the knees, so I suggest you get a knee pad. You'll see mine being used a lot. I wanted to introduce you to our neighbours. This is a slice of heaven for me. I absolutely love having these next to us. We get horsey cuddles over the fence all the time. This was very much a big part of the reason why I wanted to move here. Before I plant out the broccoli, I want to add some sunflowers. I've got the normal yellow ones and also some black magic ones. I want to plant them along the back of the fence just for some visual interest, and I love sunflowers. They're so happy. I'm using my tool just to make sure that they're equally distanced, and I'm adding some fresh soil or compost to give them a better chance. I specifically chose sunflowers for here because I need something tall, as the vegetables in front are gonna get big. I will also be using some of these sunflowers as cut flowers for my table settings, and I think I've planted about 30-35, so it should be a nice show. As always, I'm going to give them a good water just to start them off. Whilst I'm planting these broccoli, I wanted to tell you that it's only my husband and I who tend to this garden. We're both keen gardeners, however it is a big job. This garden is about 1.25 acres. This broccoli won't be ready until January-February time, but then we'll have an enormous harvest, which we will of course share with our neighbours. When I designed this garden, it was very important for me to ensure that we had somewhere to grow our own vegetables. I think they're so much better for you as they're not full of pesticides. And of course they're much cheaper. I don't know where you are, but over here in England, every single bit of food is so expensive. also planted out the sweet corn, and here they are. The next thing I really want to get done is painting our raised beds. We first painted them a couple of years ago, but they're now beginning to look a little bit tired. I will be using Cuprinol Ducksback in black. This is a fence paint, but it'll do perfectly for the job that I need it to do. I'll link it below in case this might be of interest to you. We built our own raised beds and they're made out of railway sleepers. Now I chose to use those because they're really hard wearing and they should last us a long time. Underground, around all the raised beds, we've used gravel. It's a granite gravel and it matches our slabs. We use this because the snails and slugs don't like crawling across it. I'm very happy with how that turned out. It makes them all pop again. You may have noticed, but we have a couple of areas where we grow wildflowers. This is to get some pollination going. This is a new thing for us and we're not the experts on this, but in the spring you need to cut it down to about 10 centimeters of height. I found it the easiest just to use a strimmer for this job. Last year, these two areas attracted so many bees and butterflies, so it's worth giving it a go. After it's dried out a little bit, I add some new seeds. Now this is a mixture of wildflowers, and then it's just water. We also changed our paths lights this week, and here are our electricians hard at work. Now they had to change up 21 of these. We've chosen these lights because they're the most unobtrusive. They're very small and close to the ground. And here they are at night time, and I'm very delighted with the way they turned out. I particularly like the way they light up the path in this sort of V shape. When designing and planning a garden, it is very important to include lighting. It really changes the mood when it comes to night time. And this Rupert has come out to see what's all the fuss is about. Now back to food. We also planted a mini orchard. Now on here we've got 3 different types of apple trees and 3 different types of pear trees. And on top of that, we decided to plant a couple of fig trees. And it looks like we might be getting a tiny amount of figs this year. We've also recently planted a hawthorn hedge alongside part of the fence. At the moment, it looks like a bunch of sticks, but they're just about to begin to come alive. The carrot seeds I planted last week in the last video have all come up, and it's now time to thin them out. It's super important that you actually do this job, because otherwise you're going to get a lot of skinny carrots. So what I'm doing is I'm leaving enough room between the shoots so that they're big enough for carrots to grow. Whilst I'm here and looking after my vegetables, I also want to do a bit of succession planting. Our first pot of pak choi is already well in its way, but I want to make sure we get some more. So I'm going to plant up a pot of pak choi, and I'm also going to do the same with rocket. We eat that a lot, so it's good to have more. I will be planting lots of different vegetables again throughout the season. Things like salads and radishes, they grow ever so fast, which makes them great for succession planting. Not everything works like this, because sometimes your second pot catches up with your first. I think the most important thing about all of this is that you enjoy the process. Our grapevine is growing ever so fast now, and I need to give it some direction. Using a bit of twine, I'm going to tie it to some rods we've already installed. I can't wait till we get some grapes. Just look how lush it is at the moment. My last vegetable job for the day is to plant some beans. Now we had runner beans last year, so we thought we'd try something new. So these ones are French beans. These beans like it wet, so I made sure that I watered the soil before I planted them, and I'm going to water them again after. One of my favourite freebies is this little bistro table and chairs. Now one of our friends wanted to get rid of it. It was white and the paint was chipping away, so we took it to be sandblasted and spray painted. So the dessert I wanted to show you is a Rhubarb Syllabub. Now this is one of my absolute favourite spring/summer puddings. It is so easy and quick to make, and it's light, frothy and absolutely delicious. The main ingredient in this syllabub is rhubarb, and although it's unclear as to when it first originated, it has been grown in Europe since the 18th century. I really like to incorporate some seasonal vegetables when I do my cooking. We have a couple of friends popping over later, so I thought this might be a nice treat for all of us. This dessert effectively has three elements. First of all, it's got the rhubarb, which is boiled in orange juice with spices, which is the part I'm preparing now. Then it has a syrupy part, and lastly it has syllabub, which is the creamy bit on top. Syllabub was a popular dessert drink in England from the 16th to the mid-19th century. There are a few different ways to make it. I mean, in the early versions, a cow was milked directly into the mixture to make it foamy. How about that? Worry not, I'll be using double cream today. As always, I want to thank you all for watching my channel. And if you've enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe and comment. I'm ever so grateful for all the comments I receive. I love reading them. This recipe is from a diary made by Sarah Raven. It's all about cooking, growing and eating. I will make sure that I leave the recipe below. I've had a love for cooking since I was little, and my mum always let me spend time in the kitchen. I have always enjoyed home-cooked meals. I think they're so much better than some of these prepared meals you can get these days. I think it's become more and more apparent how bad preservatives are for us as humans. So therefore, if you make things from scratch, you know what's in it. I have now started making the syllabub, and as you can see, it's got a lemon base. I'll also put a bit of white wine in it, but you could also use dry sherry. This tastes so yummy, and if my children were around, they would be sure to lick the bowl. This part is so easy. It has only got 4 ingredients: lemon, some caster sugar, some alcohol, and of course the double cream. The white wine I'm using here is on the dry side because I think that makes for a better flavour. I'm going to mix this together until it becomes thick and light. I'm going to finish off this look by adding a bit of mint from the garden. That's all for this week's video. I'm going to leave you with some videos from some of the seeds that I planted last week. Have a great week and I'll see you soon. Much love from London.